take my highlighter and read this, right? It says a closed rectangular box has to be constructed as follows, right? So we know that here one, we're dealing with a closed rectangular box, right? So it says that the diameters, right, is that our length is L, our width is W, and our height is H, right? So just to see it, we need to like sketch it and see it visually what they mean, right? So let me just let's sketch a box here, right? So we know the fact that a rectangular box, this is how it's gonna look. So this is how a box looks, right? Do you agree with me? This is how the box looks. Are you okay with that?
Yes.
So now they tell us the following, right? They tell us that our length, right, our height is H. So we know that this is going to be H, right? Then our length, which is always this one, which is going to be L, right? Then they tell us that our width, which is going to be this one, right? Our width is this one, right? So we know the fact that this is going to be your H's. I'm just going to name them everywhere. And this is going to be your width, meaning this is going to be H. And L is going to be here. L is going to be there. Then this is going to be W. And this is going to be W. Are you okay with how the diagram is right now?
Yes.
Yes. So that's what we know. That's the diameters that they gave, and we know the fact that this is our rectangular box, right? So now let me just take the highlighter and go back and read the statement. It tells us more information. It says that the length of the base has 3 times of the width. So they tell us that the length, right, is equals to 3 times of what? Of what you call is 3 times of the width. So everywhere where we see the length, we know the fact that it's going to be equals to 3 times. And it makes sense because of the length is always the base. Do you see that? The length is always the base. So we see the fact that they tell us more information that the length is going to be equals to 3 times of the width. So meaning now our L is going to change into being 3W. Does that make sense? And this is from this statement. Are you okay with that?
Yes.
Yes. So now we know the fact that our length is going to be equals to 3W, right? Then here they tell us that the volume is equals to 5 meters cubed. And this 5 meters cubed, so we know the fact that volume, and I'm going to write it here, is going to be equals to 5 meters cubed. Right? And what's nice thing about the 5 meters cubed, us giving us the volume, right, is that this volume, right, is going to be the helper function. Remember when we started, when I talked about the helper function, this is going to be the helper function. Because it has the variable, they gave us how much that volume is. Does that make sense? So by default, this is going to be our helper function, and you're going to see how it's going to help us to solve this question. Are you okay with that?
Yes.
Okay. So just know the fact that volume is going to be the helper function. And how do you know that something is a helper function? When they give you what that thing is equals to. Always if they give you something that you know that it's equals to, it's going to be the helper function, right? So just know that. So now we know the fact that volume is equals to what? Is equals to 5, 5 meters cubed. So now let's find the volume of this. We know that the formula for volume is equals to what? We know that volume is going to be equals to what? To length times width times height. That is the volume for a box. Do you agree with me? That's how you find volume, right?
Yes.
But we already know that volume is equals to 5, so we know that this is going to be equals to 5. And what do we also know? We also know the fact that what? Our length is equals to 3W, right? So I can replace our length by 3. So it's going to be 3 multiplied by W multiplied by H. Are you okay so far?
Yes.
Yes. So now we know that our function, our helper function, is basically going to be 3w squared multiplied by h. And as I said, this is going to be our helper function. So let's just leave that as that, right? Let's now continue and read the information and see what do they want from us, right? So they said that the material for the top and bottom parts cost what? Cost 15 Rand per square meter, right? So we see the fact that they tell us that top and bottom, right, is equals to what? To 15 Rand per square meter. So here, I just want to emphasize the square meter. When they say something, when they say per square meter, what is the measurement that gives you square meter? What do you think is the measurement that gives you square meter? Okay, maybe I should tell you. So here, do you see the fact that it's meters cubed? If they gave you a question and they said meters cubed, this m cubed represents volume always, right? As you see. Square meter, right? M squared represents area. Just remember that, Anne.
Oh, okay.
Yes. So remember the fact that cubed to the power 3 represents volume. And when they say the fact that something represented in square meter, is going to be the area. So if they said meters, it's distance. So remember that square meter is what? Is area, and m, just m, let me just m represents distance, Anne? Meters. Does that make sense? But here they tell us the fact that everything is going to be in terms of square meters. So from what they gave us, they tell us the fact that the cost of what? Of the top and bottom, meaning I'm going to highlight the top and bottom, and I'm going to just do it in another color. So let's highlight them. So the top and bottom, do you see this top and bottom? The bottom part, you're not going to be able to see it, Anne? Because it's under. Or I can basically, no, I can make you see it. Let me just do this. Let me take out my drawing skills. So do you see the fact that this part is going to be the bottom? The one in dotted lines, do you see that?
Yes.
Yes. So they say that the top and bottom, right, are going to be equals to what? Are going to be equals to 15 Rand. So the cost of the bottom and top and bottom area is going to be equals to 15 Rand. So we see the fact that the cost of top and bottom is equals to 15 Rand. So I'm going to highlight it so that we know the fact that this is for the blue one, right? Then they continue and say in the information, they continue to say that the material for the sides. So the material for the sides are going to be all the sides. So if you look at our box, it has how many sides? Let me just put dotted lines here because of it's going to be a side. Do you see the fact that we have 2 sides, right? Then we have 2 sides on the sides, this one, right? Then we have the front and back. So in total, we have 4 sides. And they tell us that the price for the sides is equals to what? It's equals to 6 Rand, right? So we know the fact that the price for the sides is equals to 6 Rand. Are you okay with that?
Yes.
Yes. So you're okay with that, right? And you're okay with that, the fact that we have 4 sides in total. Are you okay with that too?
Yes.
Yes. So now let's look at the question and what it asks from us. It says, show that the cost to construct the box can be calculated as this being the cost. So we need to show the fact that this is the total cost for basically this entire thing. And that's going to be easy to do because we know the fact that cost is in terms of area. Do you agree with me? Our cost is in terms of area. So what do we know now? We know that the cost is going to be equals to the area. So we know the fact that cost, right, is going to be equals to what? The reason why I'm using the area function is because of, as I said, the fact that our cost in terms of area, right, is going to be equals to the area of top, right, plus the area of bottom, right, then plus the area of sides, right, area of side. And remember that the area of side is going to be multiplied by 4. Does that make sense? because in total there are 4 sides, right? So now let's put them inside. So we're going to start with the cost of top. So the cost of top, do you see the fact that area function is going to be length times, what you call it's going to be length times height, right? Do you see the fact that the top and bottom have the same thing? It's going to be W multiplied by L. Do you see that? It's going to be W multiplied by L. So we see the fact that the area of the top part, right, is going to be W, right, multiplied by L, right? But we need to multiply it by the cost, which is multiplied by 15. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Then same thing, and this is going to be W, right? Same thing with the area of the bottom. So it's going to be plus W multiplied by L, right? Because top and bottom are the same. Then this is going to be multiplied by 15. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yes. But now the one that you need to split up is going to be the sides, right? Do you see the fact that for this side, and I'm just going to highlight it, maybe I'm going to highlight it in green so that you can see it. Do you see that for this side? No. Highlight. So do you see for this side, the one that I'm highlighting in green, right? For this side, the area for that is going to be height multiplied by W. Do you see that? Which is going to be the same thing as this one, right? These two are exactly the same thing. Do you see that?
Yes.
So I think I did a mistake by saying this is multiplied by 4 to think about it. Because of the sides, it's 2 sides. So let me say side green. So let me just do this. This is going to be area for side 1. I'm just going to call it side 1. It's going to be green. Then plus, and this side 1 is going to be multiplied by 2 because of, do you see the fact that the greens are both of them? Then the other one is going to be area of side, and I think it's going to be yellow. And I'm just going to call it 2, but this is going to be multiplied by 2 because it's going to be both of them. But now let's just focus on the green one, right? So for the green one, right, it's going to be what? It's going to be a height multiplied by W. Do you agree? So it's going to be plus height multiplied by W, but that's going to be multiplied by 6. But this whole thing is going to be multiplied by 2 because it's 2 greens. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yes. So now, moving on now, let's move to the sides that are in front, right? And I'm just going to highlight them in yellow. Let me just go back. I'm just going to highlight them in yellow. This is the one that I mean, right? Do you see there? I'm just going to stay squiggles. And do you see the fact that this one is going to be 2 of them again? So it's going to be what? It's going to be so this one is for the yellow one, so that we know this is going to be for 2, right? So going back to my pen, I know the fact that it's going to be what? It's going to be length, right? This is going to be plus length, right, multiplied by height, right? And this is going to be multiplied by 6 strength, and this is going to be multiplied by 2. Does that make sense again?
Yes.
Yes. So now we're just gonna simplify this, right? We know that cost is going to be equals to what? We know the fact that L is 3, right? So we know the fact that this is going to be 3 multiplied by what? By 3W, because L is equals to what? To 3W, and this is going to be multiplied by 15, right? Plus here is going to be W multiplied by 3W again, multiplied by 15, and H does not change, so this is going to be the same as what? This is going to be the same as 12, right? 12HW, and here is going to be the same as what? As plus 3W, right? 3W, then it's going to be H, then this is going to be multiplied by 12. Right? So now let's simplify everything. We have 3 here and 15. So if you say 15 multiplied by 3, you're going to get 45. So we know that here is going to be cost. 3 multiplied by 15 is going to give you 45. So you agree the fact that this is the same as 45 w squared, because these w's are the same, we're going to square each other. Are you okay with that? Are you okay with this?
Yes.
Yes. Then here we're going to simplify this one. It's going to be again 45, right? So it's going to be 3 multiplied by 15, which is going to give you 45. And this is going to be w squared again. So that's sorted. Then here it's going to be remain as being 12 HW. So that's sorted. Now let's fix this 3 and 12. So if I say 3 multiplied by 12, which is going to give me 36. So this is going to be what? Plus 36. Plus 36W. H. So now let's group like terms. We see the fact that we have 45 and 45 and they both have x squared, right? So it's going to be 45 plus 45, which is going to give me 90. So cost here is going to be equals to what? To 90, right? W squared. Then here we're going to have what? We're going to have 12 plus what? Plus 36, right? Which is going to give me 48. So this is going to be plus 48 WH. Do you see the fact that it's exactly what they wanted? We got it. That's the cost. So now we have found the first one. The second one, it says determine the width, right, of the box such that the cost build, right, the cost to build the box is minimized. So what do we see? We see the fact that the one that we need to minimize is the cost, which is nice. If you got to the test and you didn't know how to find cost, you could have used this and the helper function to find the minimum cost. So what are we looking for? We're looking for determine the width. Do you see? We're looking for W. So do you see the fact that everything needs to be in terms of W? Do you agree with me? Because that's what they say.
Yes.
Then they say the fact that we need to, such that the cost is minimized. Do you see the fact that we need to find C prime? But we need to solve for W. That's what we're looking for. Are you okay with that?
Okay.
Yes. The minimized part represents the fact that we're looking for what? For cost prime. Remember, that is equals to 0. That's what the question says.
Yes.
Yes. Are you okay with that?
Yes.
Yes. So now looking at our function, right, our cost function, is that our thingy, our cost is in terms of W and H. And H is the problem because we need to determine what? The width. Does that make sense? This H is the problem. We need to get rid of it.
Okay.
Yes. So how are we going to get rid of it? Okay, cool. I have extra space. That's okay. So how are we going to get rid of this H is by using the helper function. Do you see why I'm saying the helper function is going to help us? Do you see the fact that our helper function is in terms of H and W? So
okay. Yes.
yes. So I'm going to make H the subject of the formula, right? Then everything, then H is going to be in terms of a number and W. So that's what we're going to do, right? So now taking, I don't have space. So taking the helper function, because we already simplified it. Taking the helper function, this is what we're going to do, is that we're going to make H the subject. So how we're going to do that? We're going to divide both sides by 3W squared. Do you agree? So this is going to be 5 divided by 3W squared is equals to H. Are you okay with that?
Yes.
Yes. So now I'm just going to call this 1 and this I'm going to call it 2, right? So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to substitute equation 1 into equation 2, the cost, function, so that everything can be in terms of what? Of W. So let me just move here and rewrite this. We know that cost they gave us, but we know the fact that what? We know that H is equals to what? This is equation 2, remember? And this H, which is going to be 5, right? 5 divided by 3W squared. Let me just check whether it's the right thing. Yes, it's the right thing, right? So this is, we said the fact that this is going to be equation 2, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to substitute this back into, we're going to substitute equation 1, which is I named it 2. This is 1 into equation 2, right? So when we substitute, what we're going to say, it's going to be cost right, is equals to what? Cost is going to be equals to 90. And wherever I see h, that's what I'm going to substitute by. So it's going to be 90 squared plus 48, right? W, then open bracket is going to be what? It's going to be 5 divided by 3w squared. Are you okay with that? Are you okay with that? So just to make it simple for us, I'm just going to say cost is in terms of x, just like this, because everything's in terms of, not x, in terms of w, because that's the one that I'm going to differentiate. So this is going to be in terms of w. Pen, so I'm going to say w. So this is going to be in terms of w, it's going to be equals to what? So now I'm going to simplify this. I'm going to have 90w squared, right? Then this is going to be what? It's going to be 48 multiplied by 5 divided by 3, which is going to give me 80. So this is going to be plus 80. Then this what you call this w and w squared is going to give me just w. Remember exponential laws. Does it make sense? Are you okay with how I simplified this?
No, can you?
Let me just do it on the side, right? So we know the fact that it's 48 divided by w. It's 48, not divided. Let me erase this. So what I mean is that what we have there, so this is the pen, we have 48, right? W, right? And that is multiplied by 5 divided by 3w squared, right? So what I did is, the first thing that I did, I multiplied the numbers. So I said 48, right, multiplied by 5 over 3. Punch that into the calculator, you're going to get 80. You can try it out. Try it out right now.
Okay.
Are you okay with that? So that's where my 80 comes from, right? Are you okay with that?
Yeah.
Yes. So now I need to sort out my w's. Do you see the fact that I have w? If I had to multiply inside, I have w divided by w squared. Do you agree? This. Do you see that?
Yeah.
Yes. So do you see by exponential laws, this is w, this is to the power 1, right? This is 1 minus what? Minus 2, which is going to give you w negative 1, which is the same as 1 over w. But remember that we have 80 here, so that is why, and 80 is in the numerator, so, and here there is the 1 in the numerator, so this is going to be 80 divided by w. So that's how I got here. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, cool. So let me just erase that. So we have that, right? So that's us simplifying the cost function in terms of w. But remember the fact that we're looking for what? We're looking for the width, right, of the box such that it's minimized. So to find the width, first we need to minimize this. How do we minimize? Minimizing meaning with the fact that we're finding the cost of w and that we're going to equate it to 0. So we need to find the cost prime. Are you okay with that?
Yeah.
So it's going to be 2 multiplied by 90, right? Which is going to give me 180, right? W, because it's going to be 2 minus 1. Then here, I need to take it into the numerator. Let me just do this. This is the same as 90. W squared plus 80. W to the power negative 1. Are you okay with that, right? Yes. So this is going to be the same as minus 80. Then this is going to be w squared, negative 2. W to the negative 2. Are you okay with that?
Yeah.
So now we're going to say 0 because that's what we're looking for. And we're going to solve for the width, which is what they want. So this is going to be 180w, right? Minus 80w squared, negative 2. Take the 80 because it's negative to the other side. It's going to be easy to work with. So you're going to say 80w. And this is going to be 180 degrees w, right? Take the w squared to the numerator. So it's going to be 80 w squared is equals to what? Is equals to 180 w. So since this one is a fraction, this is the same as dividing by 1, so it can be a fraction. And the reason why I'm doing that is because of I want to cross multiply. Are you okay with that?
Yeah.
Yeah, so now I'm going to cross multiply. So it's going to be like this. So it's going to be what? 180w multiplied by w squared, which is going to be the same as 180w cubed. Are you okay with that?
Yeah.
Yes. Then it's going to be 80 multiplied by what? By 1. So it's going to be the same as 80. Get rid of 180, meaning divide both sides by 180, which is going to give me w cubed is equals to what? To 80 divided by 180, which is going to give me 4 over 9, right? But now we want just w alone, so we're going to cube root it. So we're going to cube root it. So both sides cube root both sides. So it's going to be 4 over 9. So when we do that, so let's cube root it. So when we do that, we're going to say 4 over 9. And you're going to get it as being w is going to be equals to 0, 7, 6. So that is going to be your minimum width. Are you okay with that?
Yeah.
So that's how you would solve this question. So the minimum width to minimize the cost is going to be basically 0, 0.76. So that's how you would do this question, Anna.